Welcome to this Deadzone short game review guide, a game by Mantic Games. It's a quick start guide, something that will hopefully be used for you to jump straight into the game. This is just the setup. We're talking about what's going to be on the board. We've got a cube, a second cube. We've got two obstacles there which are cover and a load of cover on the enforcer side. It's important to set this up like that at the beginning of the game because everything is all preset for this one. And moving on to the decks that you have. I'm going to pick out the miniatures that the enforcers are going to be using. So they get two standard enforcers and an enforcer sergeant. The plague get a few more miniatures. First of all, let's get the cards out for those. So these are the only two cards that you're going to need for the enforcers from the entire deck. So all the other cards, the missions, the battle cards, put them all to one side for now. So the plague are going to get the two plague dogs, the three standard phase 3 troopers, a phase 3 general, and a heavy machine gun. And we noticed that my friend's miniatures didn't have the phase 3 general, so we're going to have to just add a counter next to one of the normal phase 3s. And again, we're going to get rid of all of the battle cards and all of the missions, all of the extra cards. So I think we end up with 4. Yeah, the plague end up with 4 cards in total for the stats. And so, putting them to one side, and then we're going to discuss that all of the plague are going to be starting enraged, apart from the heavy machine gun. So, adding counters to each of those. It's the heavy machine gun who's not going to be enraged, and this is basically going to help him to blaze away at the enforcers in their little cover, as you'll see later on in the video. So the plague are going to set up first. They're always going to set up first in this quick start game. They're also going to get the first turn, and that's really important for them because they really do need to get across the board. They're quite vulnerable, and even though there's only 3 enforcers, you're going to find that they're going to hold out pretty well. The points for this are pretty level. The whole point of this is to actually learn how to do the shooting, the combat, how cover works, and how terrain works. So James takes his 3 enforcers, and he makes the mistake of actually deploying them out beyond the deployment zone, and deployment zone was just the last lane of cubes at the back, so there he is, just taking them back. All of them are in cover cubes. So yeah, the first phase, and I get to activate a number of my plague equal to the highest command value of one of my guys. No, you can't see that very well, but it's a 2-2, so that means I can activate 4 guys before I actually have to pass it on to my opponent. So activating my dags first, using my fast ability, which actually allows me to use a sprint as a short action, and sprint is moving 2, and for their last action they're just going to do a standard move, so they've managed to get almost halfway across the board already, and obviously hugging the wall to try and stop getting the directed shot at them. Then using the heavy machine gunner, taking a short action, stepping up onto the top. Second action is going to blaze away at the cube where the commander is. So blaze away is a dice test versus your opponent's survive test. you start with a pool of dice, which are modified depending on whether or not your opponent is in cover, whether or not your weapon has a specific weight of fire rule, or there are other rules that affect the number of dice that are involved. So I start with my 3 dice as standard, and the plague gun does indeed have weight of fire, which will allow me to get an extra dice to that. So I'm going to be rolling 4 dice altogether, and then we're going to discuss what James actually has for his dice pool. So James will also start with 3 dice, and he'll be losing 1 dice because he's in a cover cube. Basically, that's because it's a little. The whole point of Blaze Away is to reduce your opponent's aggression levels, and they're more inclined to duck behind cover, and that'll slow them down. So I managed to get 1 hit. He got 1 evade, so those 2 cancel each other out. So that was a pretty poor round of shooting. So I've activated 3. I've got 1 activation left, and I'm going to take a standard phase 3, and he's going to leg it into that cover cube there and try and hide behind the barricade. So with 4 activated, I pass the initiative over to my enforcer Blair. So he's contemplating his moves. I think he's going to move 1 square and try and spot that phase 3 on the opposite side of the cover. So yeah, he's having a look now. You can't actually see it with that guy unless he moves. So he's actually going to move forward and on the diagonal 1 square. So that is 1 activation. It's getting down to see line of sight, and yeah, he's got line of sight to it. And he's just deciding whether or not he's going to blaze away at the cube or whether or not he's going to do the directive shot, because there's obviously bonuses and pluses to each of those. Just talking about my evade score on my phase 3. He's having a look at the chart, seeing which one will do him the best. So he's worked out that he's got a better chance of actually killing him with a directed shot. So he's going to start three dice. And his stat for shooting is a 4+. And he can't use his weight of fire on his gun because he's opted for the directed shot. He has opted for Blaze Away, my mistake. Oh no, I think we've made the mistake at this point. I think he's rolled an extra dice that he shouldn't have there. He should have had 3 dice to shoot with. Oh no, he has blazed away, sorry. So he's trebled my result. I've lost my aggression. He's done 2 potential points of damage. I've got 1 point of armor, so that negates one of the one thing. So he's got 1 point of damage that goes through, so we put a damage token. My bad, it was a directed shot and we did make the mistake. He rolled too many dice, but never mind. It's all about learning by doing. So he's just spotted his commander can activate up to 4 guys, so he can activate his entire force at this point. So he's using short action to move forwards, and he is definitely blazing away at this cube. So with the blaze away action, he'd actually be targeting everything in the cube. It's not just the one dog, he's going to be hitting everything. Showing my stats there, my evade on a dog is 6+, and they have no armour as well. So potentially quite nasty. He'll get 3 dice plus his 1 for weight of fire for his gun, because he's using it correctly this time. I'll be getting 3 dice plus 1 for being enraged. Now, when he rolls 1 set of dice for everybody in the cube, and everybody in the cube rolls their survive dice separately. That's not a cover cube, so there's no cover to take an effect. So he's got four successes. He rolled a couple of 8s there, so if you roll an 8, it's an exploding dice, so you roll another one. So I'm looking for 6s, no successes on the first dog. And on the second one, I get two successes. I had an 8, so I rolled an extra dice there. So he doubled me on the second one. It's -2 aggression if he doubles you. So that dog at the back will go from being enraged to steadied to being pinned. Now that one is 3 levels of aggression he'll be losing, so 4 levels of aggression he's lost. So he goes from being enraged to ready to pinned to suppressed, and then there's 1 level left over, so he'd actually take a point of damage, so he's taken a wound at that point. So he's going to use his commander, and he's contemplating running forwards with his commander. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. He's got some pretty nasty close combat weapons. But I don't think you want to be out there on your own, isolated with a load of phase 3s moving. I mean, you're going to see how fast these phase 3s are moving in my next activation. So he's had a look, he's figured out he's got a pistol. It's range 3. However, you can shoot at long range, which doubles the range of the weapon, so he can shoot up to 6 cubes away. The minus to that is that there'll be -1 dice for his attempts. So he's doing the maths, he's having a look at him, no, and he's spotted the heavy machine gunner, who is 6 cubes away. So he's 5 cubes across, 1 cube up, that's 6 cubes. The distance. So once again, he's the sergeant's hitting on 4s. So he starts with this 3 dice. It's at long range, so he's losing 1. Now he has the option to aim here if he wanted to, spend an action to aim and then fire. He actually move forwards instead of that, so he doesn't have that option. So he is going to be just rolling 2 dice. I'm going to be rolling 3 dice to evade. He's looking for 4s, I'm looking for 5s. Roll the dice, compare the successes. He's got 3 exploding dice, and with those 8s that he rolled, he got 2 more dice, and that doubled me. So, doubled on a direct shot. I'm assuming I'm going to be -1 aggression. and the difference is the potential damage. So my 2 successes take away his 2 successes, so that's 2 potential points of damage, 1 for my armour, and that's 1 wound. So there I am on top of the building, I am pinned, and I've taken a wound. Fantastic. So initiative passes to me. Essentially it's for me to move everybody else then. Now the phase 3 general doesn't have fast, so he can only sprint the 2 squares as a long action. He doesn't use it as a short action. So we go to a whole new round, and it's the person who finished activating all of their models first will get the initiative for the second round. It's important to note that for this quick start guide there is a simple 6 turns, 6 rounds to play, and that'll be it. So James is going to blaze away at that square. Obviously I made a slight error there with putting all my eggs in one basket, and over there as well he's spotted that you can do it to the dogs as well. And on hindsight, yeah, that's definitely not something that I want to do. When there's so few of his miniatures around, I want to spread my guys out as much as possible. But that's what these games are all about, learning how to play. So he's going to get 3 dice, plus 1 for his weight of fire. So I get 3 dice, plus 1 for being suppressed this time. So I'm looking for 6s, he's looking for 4s. So the wounded dog is fine, and the second one gets no successes. So if I get no successes and your opponent gets 1, 2, 3, however many, it automatically counts as the highest possible result. So I'm going to take -3 to my aggression. I'm already suppressed, pinned, so I go down to suppressed. So that's 2 potential points of damage that I take at this point. So 1 point is a wound, 2nd point is a wound because I've got no armour to soak it up, and that's it, he's dead. 1 dead dag. Let's curse you, Mr. Aubrey. So, pretty effective round of shooting so far. I think he's going to move on to the enforcer on here, just at the top there. Yeah, so he's working out. My guys have fast, so how far they're going to go. Yeah, so he's asking the question if I start combat, there's still potential for him to cause damage to me. Yes, there is. There are 2 ways that you can react to a combat. You can either choose to fight or survive. So Enforcer's actual survive is higher than his fight skill, so it's better for him to try to evade and stay out of combat as much as possible. And shoot, shoot, shoot. So, better camera angle here. I think that shows more of the action going on over there. I think he's debating at this point whether or not he's going to charge his enforcer sergeant in. Need to work on my showing you the card skills. There we go. You can see that the energy gauntlet has an AP of 2, which means it's going to ignore 2 points of armor. So, you know, if he gets the hits in, it's going to kill those squishy phase 3s. It's quite good against the phase 2s and indeed the phase 1s if you can actually get the hits in. So, as predicted, his Enforcer is going to blaze away at that cube that I've put 2 guys in. So he's rolling his 4 dice. I get my 3, minus 1 because I'm in a cover cube. So imagine the bullets are tracking me. You can predict where I'm going to be going. I'm more likely to duck in behind cover, and that's going to slow my momentum. So he's gotten 4 successes, 5 successes in total. So I roll for that one first of all, and that's no successes. And the other guy gets 1 success. So the guy who got 3 minuses to his aggression, he was already minus 1 aggression from before, so he went to pin to suppressed, 1 potential point of damage, but he's got a point of armor, so he's not going to take a wound. The second plague, who got no successes, he got minus 3 to his aggression as well, so he went from enraged to ready to pinned suppressed. So yeah, that kind of stops that thrust dead. Blaze Away is a very powerful tool for the Enforcers, especially with the rifles that they have. So at this point, I think he's debating whether or not he's going to take some pot shots at my general. In this scenario, most of the abilities for the general and the Enforcer Sergeants we're ignoring it. The command values and cards, etc. They're just in there to use the command value to activate your guys. So he's opted to shoot at the heavy machine gunner again. So he's getting 3 dice. I'm going to be rolling. He's doing a directed fire, so he's only using 3 dice. So he takes the one he missed away. I get him to re-roll the whole shebang. So 3 dice, 4 plus, and 2 dice because it's actually long range. He gets 1 success. I get 3 successes. I'm showing off at that point, so it's a complete and total miss with the pistol shot. Thankfully, because that heavy machine gunner is already wounded. So that was 1 action that he's used. He can't shoot again because you can't use the same action twice. So he opts to jump over the obstacle and the next cube. So, first activation. Dog gets mean, loses the suppressed, and those 2 are also going to get mean and lose suppressed. He's going to get mean and stand up. Getting mean is increasing your alert status. So now he's just going to blaze away again, so it's 3 dice plus 1 for the weight of fire. I think I'm blazing away at the Enforcer behind the barricade at this point. I get a measly 1 success, and of course James is already got 2 successes, but with that 8 he gets to roll again, so 3 successes, just showing off. That Enforcer armour is really tough to break. So I would pass the initiative to the Enforcers, but they've already all activated, so my leader is going to sprint his 2, because he's not fast. He's going to sprint 2 and then move 1. So when you move into a cube with an opponent, it initiates a free fight action. What that means is we're now in combat. It's normally a long action, that's worth noting. So we talked earlier that the Enforcer's going to have two options here. He can either fight back or he can try and survive. His fight value is 6, his survive value is 4. He's going to be rolling 3 dice. I'm going to be rolling 3 dice, plus 1 for charging, plus 1 for being enraged. So I've got 5 dice and I'm looking for 5s. Got 2 8s, but I didn't manage to get any more hits when I rolled those, so 3 hits in total. He gets 2 survives, so we take 2 of mine away, which leaves 1 potential point of damage. 1 potential point of damage versus his 2 armour, which I'm going to show you there. 2 points of armour, so it just goes ping. Damn you, Council of 7. Equipping guys with fantastic armour. So, that is the end of round 2. Yeah, so let me just explain. We've got 6 rounds, 2 rounds gone, 4 rounds remaining. So the Enforcer is having a think. So he's working out that those guys all need to spend actions to stand up. The heavy machine gunner is already stood up. You can blaze away at a cube where an enemy is. You'd hit everybody in the cube, and he's not going to fire into combat. So I think he's thinking about charging into the cube and shivving me into the back. So he'd start with 3 dice, he'd get 1 for moving in, and he'd get 1 for a sporting buddy. So he would get 5 dice to attack me with. And he's a little bit better in fighting than the standard Enforcer. The Enforcer Sergeant is a 5+. It's just explaining that the Enforcer that's actually in the cube could fight a breakaway action, which is essentially a survive roll versus my fight roll, and if he wins, he gets to pop out of that cube. So instead, he's thinking that the heavy machine gun is the biggest problem. So he's using his first action to aim, and he's not. He's using 1 action to shoot. So he's got 2 dice, and he missed. So he's using his last action to move in, which creates a free fight action. +1 for moving in, +1 for buddy. I get 3 dice, +1 for being enraged, and we're both looking for 5s. So I get my 2. He gets 3. So you take my 2 successes away from his 3, leaves 1 potential point of damage. And of course he's got that energy gauntlet, which is AP2, which is going to make my armour look like jelly. So it goes through and it causes a wound on my guy. I don't lose a aggression level because he didn't double the amount of dice rolls on me, successes. So then the second enforcer is going to give me the butt of his rifle to the face. So he gets 3 dice plus 1 for a mate, but he's looking for 6s. So I'm opting to fight back rather than flee. I get plus 1 for being enraged, minus 1 for being wounded this time. So I'm just going to be starting with 3 dice. Exploding dice and nothing doing there. He gets 2 successes to my 2, 3 successes to my 2. However, my point of armour is going to negate that last one. On to the last guy. I think he's aiming and shooting at the heavy machine gunner. So he's going to get plus 1 for aiming. And he's doing a directed shot this time, so it's going to be 4 dice in total. 3 dice normal, 1 dice for the aim. I get 3 dice and I'm looking for 5s. So it's not at long range with that weapon. 2 versus 2 successes, so nothing happens. Yeah, the sergeant with the pistol is actually doing better than the guy with the long-range rifle. Finally, the dog is on its feet and sprints out into the open. Yay, because that's a great idea, Chris. Well done. That phase 3's gotten mean. And he's shooting at that cube. Yeah, he's shooting at that cube. He doesn't care about his buddy. He's got 2 guys in the cube. It's a golden opportunity to target him. Two successes. So I was looking for 6s. I'm not very good at shooting with the phase 3. So, going to roll my survive value first of all. I'm going to get 4 dice, looking for 5s. I've evaded both the shots coming in. So now the Enforcer Sergeant first of all is going to get his 3 dice to evade. He gets 1 success, so I've doubled him. Minus 2 to his aggression. So he will go down to suppressed. And then the other enforcer. Again, 1 success, so he's doubled. Enforcer's falling at my feet. Stab. Yes, you can tell what's going to be coming next, actually. So he's going to get mean, and he's going to blaze away now because it works so well for that cube. And this time he's going to get 2 dice to evade with because he's in a cover cube. How do you like them apples, Enforcer? Only 1 success though. Yeah, so he got 2 evades there. Blaze away again at that Enforcer with a heavy machine gun. Daka daka daka. What are we looking at? 1 success again. My dice rolls are appalling. 1 success, so completely ignores that. Then we're going to sprint into that cube I think with the general, yeah, the general's going in, and he's gonna stabby the enforcer on the floor. So 3 dice, +1 for moving in, +1 for being enraged, +1 for having a buddy, and I am looking for 5s. Yeah, so he's going to get 3 dice, and instead of fighting back, I think he's going to survive. So he's looking for 4 pluses. So he's pinned and suppressed, so he'll be getting -2. He's got and he got +1 power and a buddy in the cube, so he's got 2 dice overall. I got 1 success out of all those dice, 2 successes. I did 1 point, so I think I got 1 success, and that just bounces off his armour. So then the guy that's already in the cube is going to try and stab down at him. This guy's looking for 5s. And I lose it. Yeah, I just realised I'm wounded, so I'm losing a dice. So I'm down to 4 dice on that second guy. 1 success. Huzzah. So he's got 2 dice needing 4s. And then we go to a whole new round. So it's going to be the enforcers that are going to get to fight first. Because again, they activated everything first. Now, he could activate just one guy and then pass the initiative to me to see what I'm going to do. But I think it makes sense in this scenario to just keep going with the enforcers. Sorry. So he's getting mean. And that's all that that guy can do. Just discussing, you know, if we were playing with cards, this is where some of the cards might come into play, where you can play and you can increase or decrease a guy's status by 2, and that would mean that the enforcer could stand up and shiv. But unfortunately, he's got to survive another turn on the ground. Worked out that both of those guys can get into combat with the enforcer behind the barricade, so and obviously he knows that the dog is a target priority as well. Checking the line of sight, but I'm pretty certain you can see them from there anyway. So he's going to blaze away at that cube, and I think he's going to shoot at the dog. Directed shot. It'll be both short actions. He's going to charge the dog, maybe. That's it. Yeah. So he's definitely going to blaze away at the 2 phase 3s, because that makes perfect sense. So here we go, blazing away. 3 dice +1 for having weight of fire. So I get my 3 dice, and I should be -1 because I'm in a cover cube. So I'm going to get 2 dice to evade with. So he's looking for 4s, I'm looking for 5s. He's got 2 successes. And the front one gets 2 successes. 1 success, so he's doubled me. So that's -2 to my aggression. So down to pinned, down to suppressed. Boo, I've just this minute gotten up. His second action is to move into there. That creates a free fight action. So he's going to get his 3 dice +1 for moving in. I'm going to get my 3 dice -1 for being wounded. And I'm looking for 5s on the dogs. He's looking for 6s, I'm looking for 5s. And I got nothing. So 1 is all he needed to do. It counts as doubling me. It's 1 point of, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's 1 point of damage because my dogs have no armor. So now being in that cube, he's actually more than 3 cubes away from those 2 phase 3s. So he's out of sort of charge range, if you will. So we're going to blaze away at that cube. On hindsight, I should have done a directed shot, because he's out in the open, he's got no cover. I got 2 successes. He got 2 successes. The heavy machine gun fires and gets 1 success again. And the enforcer gets 2 or 3 successes at that point. I don't think it really matters. Shooting with plague. If you're shooting with plague, you might be doing something wrong. So this is the guy in the cube that stood up. So we're stabbing the enforcer on the floor. The normal one, not the sergeant again. 3 success to 1 success. Unfortunately, that's only 2 potential points of damage. And then I bounce off of the enforcer's armor again. Hooray! But I mean, he drops from being pinned to suppressed. Because I doubled. Now, interesting thing about fighting, if you double your opponent's value, you get a free fight action. So this is the same one going yet again at the target on the floor. I basically need to get lucky and roll a couple of exploding dice, and for James to fluff his dice, which fortunately all evening he just does not want to do. So then my second guy that's in the cube is now going to try and stab the same guy, and again he's on 2 dice because he's down to suppressed. I get 1 success and he gets 1 success. I just cannot roll anything above 5s. Well, anything above 4s really. So now the enforcer sergeant stands up. And he's going to shiv the wounded plague in the back. He got 3 dice, +1 for the buddy. I get my 3 dice, +1 for being enraged. I think I should get -1 for being wounded, and +1 for a buddy. So there we go, yeah. 4 dice. Dun, dun, dun. 2 successes, he gets 3, so he's doing 1 potential point of damage. And with an AP2 weapon, breaks through my armour, does the second wound, and finally that plague is removed. Oh dear. So I've lost both my dogs, I've lost phase 3, my machine gunner is wounded, I've got a wounded phase 3 on the floor, and my general is now in a cube with 2 other enforcers. Obviously because he doubled me, he gets to fight gets another free fight action. And he's gone up in aggression because he's killed somebody. Yeah. So if you kill somebody in this game, you can go up in aggression, which in the situation like that makes perfect sense. So he's getting more dice now. 2 successes against my 3 successes. So I think I managed to survive a round. Hello, doggy. I've got 1 more guy. What's that enforcer going to do? think he's going to blaze away at the 2 plague. That makes sense if he blazed away at that cube.
There must be some way out of here. Set the Joker to the thief.
And we'll just plug in the power cable into the camera there.
I can't get no relief. Businessmen, they drink my wine. Flymen dig my earth.
Honestly, don't think he needs to think this long about it. I think the obvious target is going to be those 2 plague. He's just dragging it out to cause me more torture. Yes, I'm too far away to charge that enforcer. Get on with it! Yes, you will do the blaze away at that one. There we go. 3 dice down to 2. He gets 3 dice plus 1 for weight of fire. One success. That was an 8, so rolls over, he gets another 8, and so he's got 2 successes. I got no successes. I have 2 successes on my next one, so he survives. One action left on that course, so he's debating about jumping back and cover. At this late stage in the game, why not just shoot at the machine gunner on the top? He's a bit rubbish at shooting. If you jump behind cover, then you're going to get -1 dice for your evade, because all I can do is blaze away at squares. I can't do directed shot with that weapon. It's got rapid fire, so rapid fire weapons can only do blaze away actions. So I'm attempting to evade. He got 3 successes, I got 1 success, so it's 2 potential points of damage, which takes him out because he was already wounded. 1 on the armour, 1 wound. We see how this is rapidly deteriorating now. Got on me, stood up, had a directed shot at the enforcer, 2 hits, won't actually do anything, it's got 2 points of armour, so there's no points in hits. And my enraged guy, I've got the guy on the floor is going to get mean, and then the guy in there is going to try and stab at the enforcer on the floor. 2 successes versus my 2. With 1 more turn left. So he's going to get mean and smack my general in the face with the butt of his rifle. So yeah, he decided he's going to go back and use the sergeant first. Clear everybody out of that cube. I think he's thinking of standing up and blazing away at the cube where my last 2 plague would be. I got 1 success, and the enforcer sergeant is shivving me in the back, causing me 2 points of damage. So that's my leader gone. Then yeah, there we go. He gets me, stands up. Placed anywhere in the cube when you move, when you stand up. So he's going to get his 4 dice to fire. I can't believe it. I think he's gotten like 5 successes there. Got no successes and 1 success on the other one. Essentially that wipes me out. And that would be the game. So I hope you've enjoyed it. This is purely designed to get you into the rhythm of how to shoot, how to do close combat, how cover effects, a little bit about short and long actions, and hopefully we'll be doing some more videos using the back card soon. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all again.